Within India, how many tests have you manufactured to date, and how have you found the distribution of those tests within the country? How challenging has it been to get the tests to the people who most need them?
Well, we've done millions of tests in India. We do hundreds of thousands of tests a month. India has been a place that, as you mentioned earlier on, is in its second wave, which is now about 60 days in length compared to the United States had a second wave that lasted about 45 days. And so, the challenge has been to meet demand. In both of the surges in India, we have brought more raw materials in from the United States into India to help meet demand. But we have a very first-class manufacturing facility there, and they're able to produce a large amount of tests. We have also taken in a number of pieces of equipment so that we have about 160 different customers in India with what will be in the near future over 100 different laboratories, about 75% of which had no access to molecular diagnostics before Co-Diagnostics took in the type of equipment that are enabling them to use this in not only in the cities and in reputable labs and hospitals, but also out into the rural areas where they have particular problems and where this current wave is reaching now.
Well, given your presence on the ground in India, you must have a pretty good grasp at exactly what is going on there. And we talk about the dwindling number of cases, but of course it is still at extremely high levels. How sensitive and critical would you say the situation still is right now in India as far as the pandemic is concerned?
There's no way to characterize it except for a humanitarian crisis. It is absolutely desperate and awful. We're in connection with our teams there on a daily basis. I think it's very, very important that the rest of the developing world, rather the developed world, that we don't get too triumphant about our current status of conquest of COVID, while many other populations in the world are in their deepest throes of this pandemic. We have delivered about 1.6 billion vaccinations worldwide. That's only 1% of those have gone to low-income countries. So it's just very critical that the rest of the world realizes that it's not in the overall interest of the planet to have large portions of our society that don't have appropriate access. In India, they really have a two-prong approach that they have to do. They have to get vaccinations on the ground. And number two, they have to continue to fight it and in terms of suppressing the spread of the disease. And this has to do with things as rudimentary as social distancing and masks, and of course, accurate testing. So it's a all-out war on this COVID virus in India. It's affecting everybody. This new variant doesn't let anybody out. You can be healthy, unhealthy, it's all ages, it's very virulent.
Well, you're producing tests that help, obviously, with the identification of the virus, but that is just one part of the bigger puzzle. As you mentioned, there's a need for social distancing and a need to relieve some of the pressure on the healthcare system. There's a clear lack of equipment available as well, particularly when it comes to oxygen. What do you think the number one priority should be right now for the Indian government?
Well, I think the Indian government is doing everything they possibly can. It is a situation where, from oxygen to all kinds of other medical supplies, it's desperate at every level. And so I think the international community should come to help as much as possible. We're certainly trying to do our part at Co-Diagnostics in terms of our providing of accurate tests. And I think there's a lot of people coming to the aid of India around the world trying to help with this predicament. And it's not just India. There are other places in South and Central America and other populations that are also in desperate straits currently.